Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Mark is supposed to be here, and I believe he knows about it and couldn't.
Just say we're trying to get in touch with him.
Yeah, we are trying to get in touch with him.
There's some
And
technical difficulties.
Dana, yeah, they may have some technical difficulties. So thank you for your patience. We try to call and email, not yet contact him. We cannot contact him yet. Maybe we can wait a few more minutes. He may have some technical difficulties. So sorry about that, and thank you for your patience.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes?
Yes, we are
I'm so
waiting for
sorry
you.
to be so late.
Glad to see you.
I'm 70 years old now, you know. These things happen. But anyway, thank you for all coming. Gee whiz. So I wanted to talk about Zangdok Palri or Guru Padmasambhava's copper-colored mountain, pure realm, we could say. The In the Buddhist teachings, the sutras talk about how various Buddhas or fully enlightened ones, they go through various processes leading up to their enlightenment. And then once they're enlightened, there's sort of their next act, so to speak, is, and kind of their final act, I guess, is to array, or in Tibetan, kutpa, a pure realm. And so, for example, Buddha Amitabha, or boundless light, has created a pure realm called Sukhavati, or the realm of great bliss, which is generally in the Western direction. And similarly, Guru Padmasambhava, who, as we may know, came to Tibet in the 8th century at the behest of, or the request of King or Emperor Chisung Detsen. And the king was implored actually by Shanti Rakshita to invite Guru Padmasambhava to come to Tibet, because they were building the first monastery, Samye Monastery, and the construction was going very slowly because these negative forces were coming at night and tearing the work. The men would work during the day, you know, laying the foundation stones and such like that. And then at night, these sort of disruptive negative forces would come around and take everything away. And the workmen would come out the next morning. It was just like rubble, you know, there was no like foundation thing happening. And so to overcome this kind of negativity, Shanti Rakshita asked the king to invite Guru Padmasambhava, or Guru Rinpoche, to Tibet. And of course he came. And you know, he was there teaching many, many, many years. And then he finally basically told his close disciples, well, I've given you all the teachings, you know, you have everything you need, and I have another calling in front of me, which is to go to the southwest and to tame the what are known as the Rakshas, or Rakshasas, who are these kind of cannibal demonic beings. And it was thought that if he didn't go to the southwest, that these ogres or demons or whatever you want to call them would actually invade our world, right? That he's actually out there having tamed these demons and actually has saved our worldly realm from annihilation by these forces. So that's the story. And so he remains, it is said, at the copper-colored mountain. And in our Nyingma tradition, we have, of course, these treasure revealers, these Dharma teacher people, these recover the teachings that Padmasambhava and Yeshe Tsogyal have concealed in various ways for discovery in later generations by reincarnations of Padmasambhava's close disciples, usually among the 25 disciples. And many of these treasure revealers, or tertons, have had visionary journeys where they actually go to Copper-Colored Mountain and receive teachings from Padmasambhava and from Yeshe Tsogyal and others of the 25 disciples who are gathered there. So, like I say, in our Nyingma tradition, this is still very much a living reality. It's not so accessible to ordinary people like us, but very advanced, like I say, treasure revealer people. We have accounts of them going to the Copper-Colored Mountain. The best one of these visionary journeys, because it's so long and so detailed is the story that Chokyi Lingpa, the great Tarthang of the 19th century, he relates a visionary journey to the copper-colored mountain. And this is laid out in four-part harmony with illustrations very, very beautifully in a book called The Great Tarthang. Yeah, The Great Tarthang. So if you want to read these highly mystical, extraordinary, visionary experiences that these very advanced practitioners are privileged to experience, it's really quite something. Chokyi Lingpa's journey to the Copper-Colored Mountain, as recounted in The Great Tarthang. It's a book that was put together by Pakchok Rinpoche, who was the son of Tsikhe Choling Rinpoche, who in turn was one of the sons of Toko Urgyen Rinpoche. So that they are the close lineage holders of the termas or the treasures of Chokyi Lingpa. And so it's just, it's their family thing, right? And so that story there is really, really something. Anyway, my point, I guess, is to really underscore how this is very much part of the living tradition. Harrian, could you make me co-host, please? Yeah, I can't screen
Can
share yet.
claim host,
No worries, we'll get there.
or I can do. You want me to do it?
I want you to do it because I can't do it.
Oh,
You're in the driver's seat this evening.
okay.
Yeah, so you need to make me co-host so I can screen share.
It's $120 on Amazon.
Yeah. Co-host. You are co-host tonight.
Okay, so this you should be seeing this PowerPoint here. I hope. Are we seeing that, Harrian? You seeing the? Yeah, good. Okay. So this is just a little something to keep me on the straight and narrow, I guess. So Zangdok Palri is the name in Tibetan. Zangdok it means basically copper color, and Palri, Pel, means glorious, and Ri means mountain. So this is the name of Guru Rinpoche's pure realm. And so here we see a depiction, of course, of Guru Padmasambhava, very beautiful one. And then here is a thangka depicting this pure realm. Yeah, I'm just going to go through these. There's so many and they're so beautiful. And maybe I'll say something about some of them. But it's very, very colorful. It's out in this, you can see down below, I don't know if, yeah, the cursor here, we have this sort of water. So it's on this island, right? In the southwest, to the southwest of Tibet, out in the ocean somewhere, there is this mystical island upon which, and the island rises up. And it is said that the sides of the mountain are made of precious stones, like rubies and lapis lazuli and such, with the 5 rainbow colors coming. And then the palace sits atop this mountain. Yeah. So you kind of get a sense from this thangka of the ocean below, and then the mountain rising, and then the palace sitting on top of the mountain there. This is another one. So it's kind of faded a little bit. It's an old thangka, but we basically see again Guru Rinpoche as the central figure, and a whole host of dakas and dakinis flying around amid rainbow lights and song and dance in the sky. And then we also see that the palace itself that he's sitting, where Guru Rinpoche is sitting here, is in it's got 3 stories, right? So on the ground floor we find Guru Rinpoche and his 25 disciples, and then on the second floor above him would be Avalokiteshvara, the Mahabodhisattva of compassion, and then on the very top floor, the third floor, would be Amitabha, the Buddha Amitabha, or the Buddha of boundless light, with a body red in color. So this is symbolical of the 3 kayas, the Dharmakaya level being Amitabha, the Sambhogakaya level being Avalokiteshvara, and the Nirmanakaya level being Guru Rinpoche. Nirmanakaya being something that can manifest within our bandwidth, that this the Nirmanakaya, like Buddha Shakyamuni was a Nirmanakaya, Tarthang Tulku is a Nirmanakaya, we could say. That is to say, these are people that walk the earth, and they are living embodiments of enlightened realization. But they show up, like I say, within our bandwidth or within our phenomena, right? As just kind of ordinary people, very, very fortunate, karmically fortunate people. Otherwise, we wouldn't even encounter these kind of teachings, or these kind of people. But the other levels, the Sambhogakaya and the Dharmakaya levels, these are the province of very advanced practitioners, bodhisattvas actually, who are on the one of the 10 levels of the bodhisattva path. And for them, their perception is different than ours. Our perception all too often is, I don't know, filled with conflict and strife and hassles and arguments, and something's always wrong somewhere. There's very little bliss around, seemingly, but not so much joy, not so much bliss. But on the Sambhogakaya level, it's like this plenitude and richness of blissfulness and radiant light and purity. Yeah, purity. And it's so this is very much part of the Vajrayana view, which is that of Daknang, or pure perception. And so that's what we begin to appreciate as the Sambhogakaya level becomes manifest for us as we make our way along the path. And then the ultimate level is Dharmakaya, symbolized here by Amitabha. Yeah. And this is the very pure, clear, very much the essence of mind, of awakened mind, is the Dharmakaya level. So his palace is rich with symbolism and color, and it is, like I say, it is a realm that is visited in a mystical way by very advanced practitioners, and then followers of the Nyingma tradition often pray that upon their passing away, that is to say, when the breath goes out and the breath doesn't come back, that we in fact be reborn in Padmasambhava, or Guru Rinpoche's pure realm of the copper-colored mountain, and to complete the remainder of the path under his direction there. So that's the kind of aspiration that many Nyingma practitioners have. More broadly, across the Vajrayana and Mahayana generally, many people aspire to be reborn in the pure realm of great bliss of Amitabha, which is great. But if you ever have a chance to read the autobiography of Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, I think it's a story that's recounted by the current Dzogchen Rabjam, where I guess it was Dilgo Khyentse's wife who was suggesting, oh yes, it'd be really, really good. It'd be so great. It would be best, to be reborn in Amitabha's pure realm of Sukhavati. And Dilgo Khyentse apparently came down with both feet on her and said, no, you really should aspire for rebirth on the copper-colored mountain of Guru Rinpoche. That's really the very, very best. And so Jeichen Rabjan took that to heart, and because his teacher Dogo Kensei was so strong about strong-minded about this. Yeah, so this is like I say, very much for people who feel a very strong connection to Guru Rinpoche, to feel a very strong connection to the Nyingma lineage. This is very, very, very special, actually. I shouldn't say much more, I guess. This is another one. This one obviously is in great shape. So this one, as I recall, this was fairly recently done in Bhutan. And again, you see the three-storied. It's slightly different here because the Dharmakaya level is symbolized by Samantabhadra rather than Amitabha, and those are kind of interchangeable as being symbols of the Dharmakaya. And then this thangka, or I think it's a mural actually, is really wonderful because it has not only you see the disciples, the 25 disciples in front of Guru Rinpoche here, but you also see like the gatekeeper kind of people, and you see like manifestations of Padmasambhava, like here's Dorje Drolot riding the tiger and such, Pema Gyalpo, Guru Urgen Dorje Chung, Guru Padmasambhava, many of the all of the 8 manifestations of Padmasambhava are here in this one. This is really quite Nima Ozer, wrathful deities. This is really special. Then this is another one. Again, the motif is, or the basic thing is pretty much the same. That is to say, this island rising out from the ocean, and then atop of the island sits the three-storied palace. This one is interesting. At the very crown, it has kind of like a stupa thing happening up here. That's very nice. And then all these people here, these devotees of Guru Rinpoche, they're circumambulating the palace. And this was very simple. So here we can see, of course, Guru Rinpoche, Avalokiteshvara, and this would be Amitabha, although he's not really, he usually is all in red, but not so here. And then the 2 disciples, Yeshe Tsogyal and Mandarava, Yeshe Tsogyal over here and Mandarava here. And now this thangka is actually the product of a conversation, if you will, between Chokir Lingpa and a Tibetan artist. And so here, Chokir Lingpa is telling the artist, what his experience was like. I mean, this was how his experience unfolded for him when he visited the Copper-Colored Mountain. And so this is a mural that appears in Jeichen Monastery in Kathmandu. But it's like I say, it is it's I don't know where the actual original must have been, but this is I guess maybe this isn't a direct conversation, but rather an artist working with probably Dogo Kensei to somehow artistically render Chokyi Lingpa's vision and experience of going to the Copper-Colored Mountain. And they've done a beautiful job. I really love this, like this golden wall here, and this golden, it has somehow the artist has conveyed sort of this luminescent quality, which is no small thing to do with paint. It's really quite beautiful. And so one of the great prayers in our tradition, our Nyingma tradition, for rebirth in the Copper-Colored Mountain was composed by Kigmed Lingpa, who is pictured here. And then this is a photograph of the main temple at Odeon. And the Copper Mountain motif is replicated. Here you see the 3 stories suggested here by the temple. Also, the dome is covered with copper. Yeah, so Rinpoche, Tarthang Rinpoche is very much evoking the copper-colored mountain in his design and then the final construction of the main temple at Odeon in Sonoma County. Yeah. So let's see. I wanted to oh, well, there's more. There's Guru Rinpoche, and okay, now we're done. Okay. Yeah, so then we can close the PowerPoint. Give me just a moment here. Bear with me for a moment. So this is are you seeing this prayer of aspiration? Are you seeing this? Yes. Okay. So this one is was composed by Yeshit Sogyo, a prayer of aspiration for the copper-colored mountain of glory. So she starts off, Emaho, gurus who show me the path, pure and profound, Yidam deities who grant me all I can desire for practice, and Dakinis who dispel each and every obstacle, I pray to you, please embrace me with your love. When my time of death arrives, let me not cling onto this life, but intent on traveling to another realm, may I be free of pain as mind and body part. As the appearances of this life fade away, let there be rainbows, cascading flowers, and relics. And with voices and instruments melodiously resounding, may the dakas and dakinis come forth to greet me. With steady mindfulness, may my generation stage become clear, and may I actualize the completion stage's unwavering samadhi. From their union, may I arise in the form of Vajradhara and travel upon the unmistaken path. Yet, if my karma leads me to wander in samsara, may the lands of hell appear as fine celestial palaces, hell's guardians as deities, empty yet apparent forms, and may unbearable suffering be perceived as bliss. With Vidyadhara gurus closing the ranks and Yidam deities hosts backing me up, may Dharma protectors and guardians escort me as dakas and dakinis come forth to greet me. In Odiyana's western copper-colored mountain of glory, in the lotus light net celestial palace, the pure land where the Vidyadhara gurus reside, may I miraculously take birth within a lotus flower. As soon as I am born, may I meet face to face with Pema, heir of the victors, and recognize that it is him. Then, with genuine, fierce devotion, may I follow and rely upon him without fail, thus becoming an heir to Vidyadhara Padmasambhava, to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and all Vidyadharas, the host of Dakinis and all victors. May I uphold the teachings' unfaltering banner, swiftly liberating all beings of the 3 realms from the vast ocean of samsara. May I become an omniscient guide to beings, capable of leading them all to the land of liberation. By the blessings of the utmost three jewels, the power of hosts of Yidam deities, and the force of my pure altruistic wish, may my prayers be fulfilled in this very way. Here ends the prayer composed by Khandro Yeshe Tsogyal in the forest charnel ground of Chimpu. Yep. So, I don't know. That's what I wanted to say. What did you want to say? What are your questions, or what does this resonate in any way? Is this like, oh yeah, or no? Anybody? Hi, Roger. I see you out there.
Yes, hi, Mark.
Hi.
I wondered, there's a different Jigme Lingpa prayer similar to the one you just read, I
Yes.
suppose.
Yes.
I've seen it I have a book that includes a translation of it. Do you know, is it
Okay.
also on the Lotsawa House, a different
Yes.
version?
Yes. It's a very beautiful one. Yeah. The Yeshe Tsogyal one is short. That's why I did it.
Right.
The Jiben Lingpa was longer. But yeah, it's just very, very, very beautiful. But the basic thrust is the same, that that due to
You know,
conditions. You go ahead, brother.
well, I showed a Tibetan, well, the book I have called Copper-Colored Mountain. It's by a commentary by a couple of American scholars, I guess, but it includes a Tibetan version of the Jigme Lingpa prayer. I showed
Mm-hmm.
that to a, a Kenpo that I see once in a while in
Mm-hmm.
my part of the country, and he said, "Oh yes, I recognize that. My family used to recite it every night," which sort
Oh,
of
really?
made me say, "Wow."
Yeah.
But they are, I mean, so I imagine there people recite these prayers not just in monasteries, but like as a practice in their homes.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It is very common, as was suggested, to recite Jibin Lingpa's prayer of aspiration to the copper-colored mountain in the evening. As there, that is to say, as the sun sets, we just often have this very sort of kind of poignant um, feeling, of the transitoriness of life, and there goes the sun yet again. And so it is evocative of that mood of sort of the personal connection we have to impermanence and death. And so it is often, like you say, recited in the evening. Lama Palzong said that when he did his retreat under Shato Rinpoche, that they recited Jigme Lingpa's aspiration prayer to the Copper-Colored Mountain in the evening. Pretty much, I think, every day of the retreat. Yeah. Yeah, so there is that paperback book called the Copper-Colored Mountain. It's an interesting book. It's not my favorite, I guess. I mean, it's very good. It's very good. It's very informative. It just strikes me occasionally as a little academic in some way. Yeah, and not that there's anything wrong with academia, but in the Buddhist, particularly something like this, which is so poignant and so close to the heart. Sometimes the sort of academic language kind of seems to me a little sharp or a little harsh. Yeah, but it's still very informative. There's a lot of good information, and like you say, it has a translation of that key prayer in there. There also, if you can ever, I think there's a copy in the library at the Nyingma Institute. There is a book called Zangdok Palri, which was it's like this tabletop, coffee table top books size book. It's like 2 feet 2 feet wide and like better part of 2 feet tall and thick. It's like 4 inches thick. It's beautiful, beautiful. Some of the images that I showed here came from that book, Zangdok Palri, and it was commissioned by the Queen Mother of Bhutan. And then so a group of people went around Bhutan and took photographs of these murals and thangkas and such, like I say, some of which I showed here. And then it also has Jimin Lingpa's prayer reproduced in there. It also has a very nice essay by the late Tarthang Rinpoche about Zangdok Palri and its central importance for Nyingma practitioners. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. It's it's one of these extraordinarily expensive art books. But like I say, if you ever are around Berkeley and have access to the library, I haven't been in the library at the Institute, but I'm assuming it's still there. It's just an extraordinary, very, very beautiful book from the art side more than anything. Yes, yes, please. Shelley, or Sheila. Getting there.
Oh, we don't hear you.
There we go. Can you?
There we are.
It's Sheila, Mark. I've taken classes with you before.
I know you have, but on your little Zoomy thing, it just says Shayla.
Sheila, yeah.
I mean, the I is missing on your
No,
little
that's
Zoom
right.
thing.
I took it out because then I get to say there is no I. And I did it for
crying
Buddhist
out
reasons.
loud. Now you're just confusing me.
I seriously did that. So, anyway, and I
Go
can't
ahead,
tell you
Sheila.
how many times I have to say that to everybody. It's great. Well, there are actually many ways to spell it, but I took the I out. So
Okay.
So I have been on Lotsawa House. I've read many versions of these of the Copper-Colored Mountain prayers, looking for something relatable. And I have to say, the language is so flowery and so prayer-like, and so so many of them are full of maidens carrying incense, and it's I want to know. I found kind of simpler ones, but if one were contemporary, actually aspiring, and you want to give this prayer to your friends and family to say, or at your service, or you want to say it, I want to find something I can really relate to. And I just wonder if there's any advice for contemporary aspirers to the Copper-Colored Mountain and what it's really like. It's like to aspire, and what it's just I guess I want a contemporary version of it, of what goes on there, and what am I really aspiring to, and what do I really want to say,
Well, I think very simply is to have confidence and faith in Guru Rinpoche, and to visualize Guru Rinpoche, to pray to Guru Rinpoche using the 7-line prayer and the Vajra Guru mantra, very simply and in a very heartfelt way, and in that sense, it is shorn or stripped of the, like you say, the sort of the flowery ornamentation, poetical kind of language that modern people, like you say, may find a little off-putting. So something very simple but very heartfelt is more important, I think, than something that's very highfalutin. So but something specific to what your specific question about something that is less sort of part of the formal tradition and more in the modern vernacular. I have not seen anything like that. Mhm. Yeah, I think for me, I feel a very strong connection to the Nyingma lineage, to Longchenpa, Jigmen Lingpa, Lama Mipam, Patrul Rinpoche. These people, these are my heroes, right? And so when Jigmen Lingpa has a beautiful prayer to the copper-colored mountain, that works for me, So, but like you say, everybody's different, and each of us has different sensibilities, and those change over time, actually, particularly as we get closer and closer to the time of our death, and it becomes a little more vivid. Things can kind of just go to a deeper level, right? So something that might have been off-putting to us at an earlier time may actually be very welcome at a different time. So, yeah. But the main thing, like your question is, well, like, what are we really aspiring to? Why bother? And we all who are, aspiring to follow the Buddhist path in some way, we have learned something, about bodhicitta, this aspiration to become enlightened, out of a sense of commonality and compassion with everybody, right? That we really are all in the same boat together, and we're all going to sink or swim together. And it is incumbent on us who have, had the great good fortune to connect with the lineage and to begin to understand a little bit about bodhicitta and how to train the mind, towards bodhicitta through familiarizing ourselves with the four measurable qualities of equanimity and love and joy and compassion and such, and who are, really trying to make that, our mode, right? To really kind of jump, like you say, drop the I part and really focus to the greatest degree that we can, as it says in Path of Heroes, think only of others, which is hard, right? I mean, truly, 98% of the time we think about ourselves, and it's just how we are, right? But the bodhisattva, aspiration is not that at all. It's really this aspiration to think only of others all the time, 24/7, and to walk the talk and act, enact the bodhisattva ideal and to traverse the path to enlightenment. What's being pointed to here and is this sense that we get from in many ways from the Tibetan Buddhist tradition and the Nyingma tradition in particular, is that the time of death is a very powerful time. It's a very special time, and if we can infuse that tremendous opportunity, right? That is to say, when the body and mind separate and we're no longer anchored or tethered, by the physical body, then we have a degree of potential freedom there. That's very special. It is a very special transition, right? And so if we can take full advantage of that transition, by bringing to mind Guru Rinpoche as the embodiment of perfect wisdom and compassion and love and spiritual power and ability, and we can connect with that feeling or that reality in those moments. And this is really what our practice is all about, is this sort of a dress rehearsal for the real thing. And so when the real thing comes, we want to be prepared. We want to have, we want to have our shit together.
Yeah.
right? And so this is a way to do that, to familiarize ourselves with these prayers, and so then the purpose is that that we through our faith and devotion to Guru Rinpoche and his lineage and such, that we go there, and like I said earlier, is that there we are with him, right? And we receive such teachings as we have not yet received, that we need to complete the path to enlightenment, and we are doing that in the most conducive circumstances or environment, right? I mean, this is the pure realm of Guru Rinpoche. The whole thing is radiant bodhicitta. I mean, it's just it's all about these kind of ideas that I've been talking about. So that's why, right? It's a way to, like I say, take supreme advantage, very special openness and expansiveness that unfolds. Just this vast horizon of openness that arises, at the time of death, and we don't want to blow it. Yeah. So it's practice,
Yeah.
it's practice in preparation for that. There's some chats going on. Yes, what's the book? Could this be Sri Lanka? That's a good question. Could this be Sri Lanka? I don't know. It's like Sri Lanka is like south, right? And it always talks about southwest. Yeah. So it kind of, takes us out in the direction of Madagascar. But I don't think, I don't know, there was this wonderful, I remember in the 70s, people read this book called Mount Analog. Anybody remember that book, Mount Analog? A French book. It came from France. It was translated into English. Anyway, it's these kind of adventure people, kind of mystic adventure people that go off and in search of this mystical island, and then the clouds part, and there it is, and they see it. So that is my sense of it. I don't. I mean, Jimmy Lingpa's prayer, clarifies that the copper-colored mountain does have a foot in our material world, right? That it is a combination of a Nirmanakaya realm and a Sambhogakaya realm together, so that it is unique in the sense that it is perhaps more accessible to ordinary people like us than a perfectly pure Sambhogakaya realm might be. But actually, geographically, where one might point to as that being the location, I have not heard anything authoritative from anybody in the tradition. So, where to go? Yeah, if you haven't, Lotsawa House is a really extraordinary resource online these days. And so it's spelled Lotsawa, Lotsawa House.org, I think. Lotsawa House, and it's a searchable website, and so you can put in there like Kigmed Lingpa's aspiration prayer to the copper-colored mountain of glory, and you will see this prayer that we've been referring to. And it's a very nice translation by Adam Piercy there, and so you can familiarize, you can read through it and familiarize yourself with it. But like I say, the main thing is to cultivate and strengthen, purify our connection we have this connection. You wouldn't show up to a talk like this if you didn't have a connection to this kind of stuff. You would be watching, I don't know, Shohei Ohtani or something, play baseball, right? I mean, you're here because you have a karmic connection with the Nyingma lineage and Guru Rinpoche and Zangdok Palri. Many people are not interested in such things, but you guys are, right? So you have this sort of already this karmic affinity for this kind of stuff. And so, I would just encourage everybody to kind of continue to follow that felt intuitive sense of connection and explore, Jigmen Lingpa's prayer. I think the traditional notion that one goes there with this kind of stuff, at nightfall, that is the right time, that the mood is right for that. And then, there are situations, I mean, many of us are of an age where, friends are passing away, Dharma friends are passing away in particular. If I got real sick and I was about to die, if somebody came by and wanted to recite the Jigmen Lingpa's aspiration prayer, I'd be all in. I think it'd be really, really nice. I'd appreciate it. But these aren't things that you can thrust on people, at all. It is just like not appropriate at all. I mean, if it's appropriate and people have the connection and they want it, because people get very sensitive, during the dying process, and you have to kind of dial in to where they're at and what they're looking for, what kind of support, what is going to be supportive for them, because they're going through a really difficult, challenging time, often, accompanied with a fair degree of pain. But we're able to manage that now pretty well with medications. But still, it's for many of us very frightening. And it's very emotional because we're having to part company with those people that we've been near and dear with for a very, very long time. So it's just a super highly sensitized context. So, like I say, I wouldn't even begin to sort of put this forward to anybody in one of those kind of bedside settings, unless they were already dialed in. But if they were, then I think they would really appreciate it. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. Well, why don't we just chant a little. I'll start off with the 7-line prayer, and then we'll just chant the Vajra Guru mantra for a little bit. Organ of Jangsang, Pemage Sardong Vola, Yatsam Shogi no Drubne, Pema Jungne Jesu Dra, Kordu Kandro Mang Pukor, Get he Jesu Dak Drugi, Chinji Lob Jir Zuzo, Guru Pema Siddhi Om Venzar Guru Pema Siddhi Om Venzar Guru Pema Siddhi Benzar Emasidium Om Benzar Evasidium Omnia Venzar Emasidium Omnia Venzar Emasidium Omnia Venzar Emasidium Omnia Venzar Emasidium Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming. I apologize for being not the perfect example of mindfulness. But anyway, so it goes. I hope you have a wonderful evening and the rest of your life unfolds just as it should in great ease and comfort, and that your transition is peaceful and full of joy and enthusiasm or openness to the great promise and potential that we have as somehow being connected with Guru Padmasambhava in this extraordinary, I don't know, Guru Padmasambhava, we talk about like four-dimensional chess, and it's like, I don't know, it's like Guru Rinpoche is like so far beyond four-dimensional chess. I mean, it's just like a whole nother level of wisdom and compassion that he manifests. It's just so deep and so rich. So we're very fortunate, and I just encourage you to, as much as you can, renew your connection with Guru Rinpoche with some sort of practice a little bit, just chanting the Vajra Guru mantra now and then. And then, like I say, look this up, this Kigmed Lingpa prayer of aspiration to the copper-colored mountain of glory. The secret path, that's what it's called, the secret path to the copper-colored mountain of glory. And just like I say, more and more familiarity with this very just extraordinary, so beautiful. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.